I can hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Yeah. So you are sometimes a bit cut it, but hopefully it will be fine. So 1, 2, 3 of us. That's good already. But let's wait those traditional 15 minutes before we start, so that people can gather, especially as we have had all the summer. How was your summer meanwhile?
You're asking me?
Well, like anybody, I mean, like we're just sitting here and it's a bit like boring.
Or I think it was too hot for everyone, but yeah.
It was short. I kind of got used to the fact that it was very slow at work. And yeah, now it's September and everyone wants us to do things. So, a hard start. So
I can only relate. I mean, came to Strasbourg today, and it's 32 here. I mean, like it's September and it's 32. That's so crazy.
well, on the other hand, I still had 2 days when I had to light the fire at home because it was just too cold. I think both in July and in August there were a couple of days when I was just like, yeah, it's a bit like winter, but now again it's about 30. So yeah, not very consistent temperature wise.
But you live somewhere in the central Bohemia. There should be fine. Also, there were some days where like for like 18 or something like that.
Well, apparently it is like a really cold area, Mrazová kotlina in here, so like Ice Valley for English speakers. So yeah, we tend to have like 5 degrees less than the rest, and when it's around 14 or 15 outside, in my house it's around 12 to 13 degrees. It's a bit too cold even for me then, so
Well, that sounds as a place to live in. I mean, concerning the growing temperatures, I think it will be needed.
Oh yeah, I'm not thinking about insulating the house at all. It's perfect for for this era. Okay, is it enough of us? No.
I would say there are 3 of us still.
Okay.
I don't know who is now using the nick 42. But anyway, I mean, like, let's wait 15 minutes because we anyway cannot take formal decisions to do, but
Okay.
apparently the start after the summer is hard.
Well, I've added you to the list of participants, and there's 2 people who said they won't be here, so that counts for 5. But yeah, there's been a long summer break. It might be difficult for people to get back into the routine. Petra is traveling, and Alessandro had something urgent coming up, so they have both said in the chat that they won't be here. I haven't heard anything from everyone else. I pinged in the chat, but I haven't reached out to everyone individually. But talking about summer, I can strongly recommend the British countryside. We had roughly 25 degrees and sunny or rainy, depending on which day it was, most of the summer I was there. Now I'm back in Brussels and it's 30 degrees and boiling, and that's just not my thing. Well, right now I'm in Copenhagen and here it's nice, but in Brussels right now it's too hot.
Yeah, I remember those British summers. That was amazing. But the thing is, it's like it's either warm or it's raining for like a week at a time. No? But that was Kent, so I don't know if it's still the case. But it was really nice. Yeah.
Well, I tried to be there long enough so you both got the rainy weeks and the sunny weeks, so you can do different things in the different periods. So you don't get stuck with just one. By the way, before people show up to pass the time, I might as well give you a very, very brief update on the situation in Denmark, because it shouldn't be in our minutes anyways. So, as you know, we've been checking out Alternativet, the Danish party that is close to the Pirates in digital policies and close to the Greens in a lot of other policies.
Just, are we already streaming, or is it just like...
Well, I think Pirates on Air might be there. It's not secret. It's just not worth for the necessarily going to minutes, because they haven't formally applied to be observer members, but we've been in touch with them. And I just wanted to update that their chances of getting a seat in the European Parliament has increased slightly. They're fairly steady at 3% in the polls, which would not be enough. But in the Danish system, you can have an election coalition, not the Czech version, but separate lists. But then once every seat has been allocated that reached the threshold for a seat on its own, the remaining seats are allocated to these coalitions. So then you pool whatever leftover votes the parties have, and you see who should get those seats. And Alternativet, who is unlikely to reach a seat by themselves, is in a coalition with the Greens and the Social Democrats, which means that between the 3 of them, it's likely that there might be one seat allocated to one of those 3 parties through this coalition system. And then it's a bit random which one of those 3 parties will get it. But since they didn't really have a chance of getting a seat of their own, being part of this election coalition, well, at least increases it from almost 0 to 1 in 3. So that's good news for them. And I think if they do get a seat, well, they will definitely want to be in the Green group. And I think we might be able to sway them to join the Pirates.
Yes, that would be very interesting. Although from the point of view of registration, probably already like a declaration of alignment with European Pirate Party would be already a big success. I have been to Hungary, by the way, which is another the story of that type. Seems so that Two-Tailed Party has actually a resolution saying that they don't want to join any political group in the European Parliament for at least a year after the election. So that's their position, and yeah, I mean, then you can speak about, let's say, an informal discussions among like what to do further on. I think there might be, let's say, some window of opportunity happening later, maybe even later after the Hungarian elections to do something. But so far they don't want to do any commitments.
Well, there is definitely should be possible for them, or it is theoretically possible for them to join the European Pirate Party without being part of the pirate delegation in the European Parliament. So even if they don't join whichever group we're in, they could still join the European Pirates. Assume they haven't also in the declaration said they don't want to join a European political party.
Well, yes, I think there is no strong opinion on that. Although, of course, I mean, like those questions are kind of like interrelated, and also still we are kind of like in the process of debating with them how much they actually feel like by means of identity aligned with pirates, because they still kind of like recognize that there are some shared features, but also some features that they expect from us, or where we are a bit like, let's say, different.
That's really interesting. What features do they want from us that we might not necessarily have at the moment?
Well, I mean, apparently we need to be very careful, because any politician in a suit coming to Hungary and meeting this party is suspicious by design, so to say. I mean, like, they are really used to do their meetings very informally and very, let's say, yeah, very, very informally. That's the point. And I mean, like, even like formal talking about politics is very much far-reaching. Yeah? I mean, in every pirate party, you have this discussion about like, are we more like activists? Are we more politicians? What are we? So for them, this is really like a still like real issue. I mean, I have seen one of their like internal party polls where they have actually asked the members whether they should have like a joking program or a serious election program, or something in between. Yeah, like half joking, half serious. And roughly their members were distributed 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Yeah, so 1/3 are full like activists just joking. 1/3 is, let's say, people who want to go for like serious politics. 1/3 is somewhere, or trying to combine both approaches. So that's how we shall perceive it. Yeah, I mean, like, this is not like not like let's say a mainstream party in any sense.
So we should only send pictures of what the pirates looked like 10, 15 years ago to them.
Well, actually, yes, that's very reasonable. Also, I mean, like, pirate parties are kind of like a little bit different in, let's say, a visual look. I mean, I have been to Netherlands this weekend to see the local pirates, and of course, I mean, like it's a bit different. It's a bit different exercise than, for example, in Czechia. So we need to keep this let's say differences in mind, that some parties are, let's say, more established and presenting themselves more serious, whereas the other are, let's say, more activist like.
Quite often tied to how many people they've had elected into positions of power over the years.
That's true. Plus, I mean, like, how many times it already happened?
I just wanted to say that the taking yourself seriously can happen very quickly in a space of a few years.
Well, I would like to say that you can take yourself very seriously without wearing a suit.
Oh yeah, no, of course. And on the other hand, you cannot take anything seriously wearing the same suit. So.
Absolutely.
Well, suit can be certainly considered ultimate tool of trolling, but just checking on the time, it seems to me that there are officially only 3 members of the board, plus some guests. Am I correct?
Yep.
So concerning the our ability to take decisions, we are quite limited.
I would suggest that we move all points from discussion with decisions to discussions without decisions. And then we go through them and discuss. And then the board can take decisions in between if needed, or we just reopen them at the next meeting. But I think it might still be good for the people here to discuss what is on the agenda rather than postponing the meeting.
Yes. So maybe then
could we also try to call Mia? I don't think she has been online since like July. I haven't seen her in August in the chat. So maybe, she doesn't know the date or it wasn't in her calendar. And she's normally here and quite on time.
Actually,
I don't have her number.
I met her in Netherlands, and she said something like she will not be able to arrive.
Okay.
Maybe I mean, like, we can consider her to be formally excused from that point of view, because she told me there would be some problem. But she will be traveling or whatsoever was that. I don't know already, but I mean, like, she already had some good reason.
Okay. And Elizabeth?
No clue about her situation.
Okay.
Neither Elizabeth nor Cedric.
I have been trying to reach out to Cedric, but I don't think he's available. I don't have an answer from him.
Okay. Then, yeah.
I have an update from Elizabeth what she needs for the webpage, but not if she will join. I just wrote to her on Facebook to remind her.
Good. Okay, so let's do it that way. I would say I'm for formally chairing, but unless there are any objections.
No, it's fine for me.
But I think we should mark and I'm officially opening the meeting, but we should mark into the minutes that actually the respective number of members needed for decision making was not reached. So Anyone wants to act as secretary?
Yes, we should all do that.
Yeah, so it will be collectively as usual. And we have a recording for pirates from on the earth, on the air. Yeah, so that's it. The agenda apparently to be is proposed on the line 41 and farther on. I guess the idea to actually move this decisions with discussions to discussions without decision sounds reasonable. So if you would do that, it would be great.
Can I just say something quickly that affects this?
Tell me.
I had a look at the rules of procedure, the old ones that you haven't changed yet, and there's no quorum to make decisions, except that if there's less than four or less board members voting, you need to have the vote open after the meeting so people can vote by postal vote up to 72 hours. It seems a bit complex. I would still just suggest that you don't take decisions today, but in the rules of procedure, there's no quorum requirement for the board. It's just that if you are less than four people voting, then you have to not close the vote during the meeting.
Yes, that sounds very reasonable, and still I would strive for not making decisions today, formal decisions.
But none of them are urgent anyway, right?
I would say so. The only one where we might discuss is the update of the web page, but then we will propose that in the discourse.
Yes, because Elizabeth is not here, and she's the one who was the most interested in that.
Yes, precisely. So I would follow this agenda. Okay, there are some more proposals.
Yeah, last minute things, but just to make sure that everyone coming back from the summer has the info.
Super. So does that make like that sense like that, or do we need more like amendments, proposals, changes?
It's fine, I think. Makes sense.
Okay. Then I would say we are consensually approving the agenda and we can go.
Yep.
So I guess we received some written reports from the treasurer, so you may read it. Confirmation of any decision taken in between we can do. Yeah. Okay, so the minutes cannot be approved as there are not enough of us, probably. So let's move for the next one. And decision, yeah. So we can go to the first point on the agenda, which is the ratification process for Common European Election Program and Common Pirate Strategy. Actually, has anyone some information about how is it running? Okay, Map.
Yes, we sent out an email before the summer, and no one has responded to that. I asked the board if they know how it's going in the different parties, and I got some leads to who I should contact. On Discourse, no one has written anything. There's a thread where you can update directly in Discourse. I will actively encourage people to do that. And the one I do know is the Swedish Pirates, because I follow them directly, and they will have a vote on the ratification in middle of October. And I don't see any obstacles to a very simple yes there.
Okay, that's great. Maybe I can add, I have been present to discussion in the Czech Pirate Party, was a little bit blurred by questions about meaning of some content. So now there will be this, there are supposed to happen some explanatory statements, and the ratification process itself shall be finalized in the National Committee within November. So that's the plan. That's the timeline for further progress, and I hope it will be ratified. So maybe what we might do is actually we might create an overview for the next board meeting to actually first try to reach out the respective member parties and check on what is their, let's say, time schedule for ratification process, and then so we have better overview. Does it make sense?
So I wasn't preview as I was writing in the minutes. Could you repeat again, please?
Well, my idea is that we should actually create a table having to have, let's say, an overview. What is the ratification process in various parties? Where is it progressing? Where there is, let's say, no signs of activity, and we need to, let's say, call, because I guess it might need board members or someone kind of like calling or urging the process to be finalized somewhere if somewhere the people forget. So I would say let's have an overview and clarify where we need to, let's say, push a little bit the locals to do the ratification.
Okay, I've written it in discourse. I think it would be a good idea to do a simple follow-up process. As you said, we would need maybe to decide if everyone agrees on who is leading it.
I mean, I can just carry on with what I was doing with the finalization of the program, as I was in contact with most of the member parties via Discourse and Mattermost. So, yeah, if I can have maybe a bit of help with from MAP with contacts for the international coordinators, I think we can do that in relatively short time.
Yeah.
I am more than happy to help with that.
That would be amazing. So maybe let's define it as a task for the next board meeting, or until the next board meeting. And as said, I mean, like if there would be some, let's say, bottleneck or somewhere like lack of progress, then we can do some, let's say, gentle
Nudging.
yeah, gentle reminders, like crying MEPs on the phone or something like that.
Yep.
I would like to ask one information of MAB for the minutes. When you mentioned that people could react about the ratification process in the discourse, which subject, which topic were you referencing to, so I can include it in the minutes?
I was actually desperately looking for it right now. If I find it, I'll send it to you. I hope it's not a fiction of my imagination.
One more question that came to my mind. When we are talking about the Common European Election Program, shouldn't we actually put it on our webpage? Because we had some discussions on the topic with MAP through the summer, but somehow we have not came to the conclusion how to do this.
You mean how to display the program on our website?
Yes, basically the concept is that currently our web page is still full of the old one, and the updates are hidden in the discourse. So I think as the PPEU officially finished its part of the process, and now we are expecting the member parties to present to ratify it. I guess there is no reason why should we wait with publication of the content also on the web pages, so that it's available for the media, for example.
So this will be one of those rare occasions where you will hear me and Miklas disagree, I think. Well, hopefully it's a rare occasion. My understanding of ratification is that when you have a ratification process, the paper you ratify don't come into effect until after that ratification process, which means that the 2024 CEP and CPS aren't entering into force until the deadline in January. So currently, those are working documents that are in the process of being ratified, but they are not officially papers for the organization until that ratification process is over. But it all depends on how you interpret ratification, and I understand that there might be multiple interpretations of that word.
I see your point.
I kinda agree with Mab in the sense that the process is long, and until member parties sign it, in my understanding, it's not the official program. But in another conception, we could argue that since member parties accepted it in the General Assembly, Council meeting, sorry, they already agreed to it, and so it will make sense to publish it as soon as possible for press releases and so on.
Veronica and Map.
Yeah, I would. I think second map on this one and wait until the ratification and signing process is done. Another reason being that if it's officially on the PPEU website, it might put like unnecessary pressure on emerging candidates from the countries being asked about the program from different journalists. They might not be prepared for that, or they might not be prepared to, defend the program, so to say. And I think giving some extra time to candidates and people in general to get themselves more familiar with the program until it's ratified and signed would be a good idea. I'm partially kind of like, building on the experience that we have with the ratification process in Czechia. So, but I think we should prepare a section on the website to update it, maybe hide the old election program for now, and have it ready to go live as soon as it's signed and officially introduced. But yeah, until then, I would just wait. It's only a few months, and the main kind of campaign will be spring anyway.
There is a middle ground. It should be fairly easy for me to update the current website on every section, adding a disclaimer. This is from the 2019 Common European Election Program, which is what the Paris delegation is currently working with. The European Paris are currently bound by. However, there's a process of preparing the 2024 Common European Election Program. You can find that process here, and then a link to discourse. Then you have the old text, so it's not blank, but you also have a clear mandate, a clear indication that this is an old text that will be replaced. But you don't put the new text on the web page, you link to discourse instead to show everyone where the process is happening.
Okay. Well, I think this is probably the most reasonable approach we can take. So maybe let's do that.
Can you repeat what's the most reasonable approach to take, please?
Yeah, basically that we would add a disclaimer to the current web pages that this is the program that applies between 29 and 2024. And the new one for the time after 2024 is now being prepared in the discourse, and then the link will be added.
Okay. I do agree on that. I don't know if there's anything else we should add.
Yep. I think that's fine. I guess with that we have covered the point 3.2 presentation of the CEP.
You meant on the website?
Yeah, I guess that was precisely what we shall discuss here. So I mean, like, we have kind of like covered it's in the minutes included in the previous point, but doesn't really matter. Yeah. We are getting slowly to the question of updating and managing the PPEU web page. I guess the biggest obstacle here would be that we have no Elizabeth here. Map?
Well, Elizabeth has said that she's happy to do it, and what she needs is basically admin rights, and then she can do it. But we might want to have some kind of discussion in the board before she makes any huge shifts. So it might be good to have a formal decision in discourse on this. But I can prepare that with Elizabeth within the next couple of days so that you can sign off on that. And then my advice would be to give her as a free rein as possible to do things, because people are more likely to do good things if you allow them to do what they want rather than try to restrict them too much.
I tend to agree. We shall provide her political mandate to actually update that. We clearly cannot do it here and now. So certainly, let's have a vote on that in discourse.
I would like to point out that we already voted that she should be granted admin rights, although only for exploratory work in a previous meeting. Yes, she should have been granted admin rights already. Or maybe it was a suggestion, I'm not sure, but we should check in previous minutes.
She has admin rights to the WordPress, the current WordPress, but I don't think she had admin rights to take that WordPress, throw it in the bin, and put a new WordPress in. So she needs the backend admin, and I don't know if she has all that. But she definitely have admin rights to WordPress. She can make changes in the current web page.
Okay.
That's probably what is needed for now, but that's just a temporary solution because we really need to update the web page as whole. So maybe let's try to reach Panda and kind of prepare something that would be suitable for replacing the WordPress. I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily the same server. Yeah? I mean, like, we can always redirect from page to page, from server to server, simply at the DNS level.
Okay, in addition to preparing a decision online, I'll also put Panda and myself and Elizabeth in a chat and get the ball rolling there.
Okay. Good, and I think we are kind of like agreed on what shall happen there. Maybe we can slowly go to the next point, which is the next council meetings. What exactly do we need to discuss there?
Well, the last meeting we had, we made some great experiences in how to manage that meeting when we slowly shifted more and more to discourse. And the people running that meeting also discussed how we might want to use discourse even more for the next meeting that will be entirely online. And I think if we want to do that, we should start working on that so that we don't end up trying to fix everything the last week, but that we already now start thinking about how to make the best of an online meeting and the best use of the discourse tool. That doesn't mean we have to start that discussion today, but it might be good that we already at the next board meeting appoint someone responsible for organizing that meeting and also give any instructions on how how it should be run and what limitations are on the setup of the meeting. Because I think that we progressed during the last meeting, and it would be a shame to start from scratch again at the next one.
That's certainly very true, and also we need some changes in the discourse, in the sense that, for example, we should have numbers for our like votes or topics, so that there is a system and we can't refer to them because the current system is a bit too chaotic. So maybe we shall address it all together and have some rules of procedure for working with discourse or something like that. Okay, then maybe let's have it as a topic for the discussion in the next meeting. Ma'am?
Yes, I just had a question to Florian. The French powers use discourse a lot, also for decision making. Do you have some discourse geeks who might be interested in helping out with this?
So we might have Discord geeks, discourse geeks interested, and Discord geeks as well, but that's not the subject. The main point is that we do not directly use discourse for decision making. We use it a lot to discuss on matters. So this is only a sub-component of decision making, and then the votes happen on another tool. But yes, in effect, we could maybe get inspired by how we manage discourse in terms of sections, subsections, and stuff. So things could get rolling a bit more. Before the summer, I tried to dip my toe into this. I tried to archive stuff, move things around a bit for some clarity. It was on my own initiative, and I didn't plan out things in a big fashion, so I don't have a defined plan for it or anything, but it would be very much a good thing to pursue this work, and I agree with you. I might ask people in France if they would be willing to help shape the PPEU discourse.
So maybe would you be willing to kind of like take charge of the process and prepare the next steps?
Yes, I will. I will look into it and ask pirates. Okay, I did 2 minutes. We're good.
I guess that's where we have kind of like solved the problem of next council meetings. So it is in point 3.4.
Maybe a last thing before I get off, because I wasn't at the last council meeting, so I don't exactly know to what progress you made there.
Maybe if there will be some working group, MAP will be able to kind of like brief you.
Well, very quickly here. So originally we voted in the pad, and we had the proposals first in the pad, and then we moved the proposals to discourse, and then we also moved the votes to discourse. And we got better at sort of creating a system in discourse where we tagged things as votes and so on so you could see what was a vote, and we created votes that you can open and close and stuff. But I think, yeah, if we set up a meeting to discuss it, then we can invite everyone who was chairing that meeting so they can share their experiences and discuss what we can take with us, what we can adapt from that.
Okay, add it to the minutes. We don't lose out.
Okay. So that would be the point 3.4. Maybe we can go to point 3.5, which is possible merger of the PPEU mailing lists. So, Map, if you would introduce that.
Yes, I have a fairly big mandate to manage the mailing lists from the last board meeting. And I just wanted to check if anyone have any reason to object to me basically merging all our lists except the board list and YPE list into one list. So we don't have, currently we have 19 lists and none of them are being used. So I figured I would just move all the members of any list to the main list and then inform people that the lists are being merged. Because since most of the lists are created around policy and policy discussions are now on Discourse, it makes no sense to have the mailing lists as well, as the way I see it. Rather to make sure that everyone knows which mailing list the relevant information is on and that everyone is there.
I think it's generally a good idea. I just feel like that such a decision might be disputed from the point of view whether the consent with processing of the personal data was really provided in the sense of to transfer from one mailing list to another. So I suggest let's do following. First of all, there should be a vote on that. We can do it in the discourse. Secondly, we should be clear and clearly give that those people who host who will be, let's say, transferred from one mailing list to the other one, although I doubt there will be many of them, the information that this is happening, and yeah, we shall specifically address them, I guess.
If I can react to that, I would say that one very simple way to do this would be to erase everyone and merge the lists or define a clear set of mailing lists, which will then be sent to people through the discourse or their national parties. It's like a big reset and refresh, basically.
Map?
I think reset and refresh might be good. I think we have lots of legacy emails and people there that will not respond and that we will be cautious about moving. So, and then if we create one new list and say this will be the list from now on, and then we archive all the old lists, well, then people would actively have to join the new list. And then it's just a matter for us to promote the new list. It's a bit more work to make sure that promoting happens. But I can prepare a decision with both options, and then the board can decide on discourse, so that you have two clear options to choose between, and a third, the do nothing option.
I honestly think it's a very bad idea to delete our main mailing list, because quite easy can happen that when you have people who receive the emails from that mailing list, they will just omit that respective invitation to the new one and just lose the contact, not because of that will be their true intention, but because they would just like forget the confirmation. I think this is really user-animated decision to delete the existing mailing list. So I would suggest let's move those we have, and because we really shall not risk like losing people. I mean, at the end of the day, whatever address is on the mailing list, it doesn't cost us anything even if it is not active. Just like the email is not read yet, it's like, or that respective copy of the email. But losing the people would be on the other side like a big step back. So certainly I would not do that.
On another end, I don't know what you planned, Mab, but I know that in Discourse you can manage mailing lists. Maybe a bit more easily than under the current system. And it's a shame that Cedric is not here because he's the expert on that. But Discourse can also serve as a mailing system.
I mean, probably would make sense to actually combine it. And I like the solution. But then let's, as first step, do the thing that we match the less used mailing lists with the main ones. And then we can start talking about like how to do migration to Discourse. Yeah, it was mentioned by Cedric in the chat that Discourse can act as a mailing list, so there is no need to keep like separate mailing system for that. I mean, like technically that's true. So I guess up.
Well, the argument for that would be that some people know what a mailing list is, but they will be hesitant to go to Discourse. And you don't need to register an account on the mailing list. Well, you register a separate account there, but you don't feel like you do that when you sign up. So we're likely to get more people on a mailing list, not necessarily the same though. That would be the argument to keep a mailing list. That's not an argument to keep a lot of mailing lists. It also, well, it makes sense to have non-personal accounts on that mailing list, like contact@frenchpirates.eu, whatever the French pirates have for contact email. Whereas on Discourse, we are trying to have people as individuals. So in that sense, have organizational emails primarily on the mailing list makes sense to reach all our member parties. And we're also not tied to one infrastructure. So I think having one general mailing list for information being pushed is still valid.
I'm sorry, I couldn't catch what you said, Mab. So you will probably have to input it yourself in the minutes. My bad.
Yeah, but it in fact very much makes sense. I mean, those organizational emails shall be on the mailing lists, just to keep, let's say, the flow of the information to the member parties, even if the international coordinator is replaced and so on. But as said, Discourse is not really designed for them. So maybe can we just like conclude that first of all we need a Discourse vote for the board whether to actually match the mailing lists, the existing ones, into one big, let's say. With that, I think we are fine with the point of the agenda, this mailing list merger. And we can go to the point rules of procedure, which was requested by Florian.
Yes, so another update on the thing. It's been my initial proposal has been pretty much set for some time. I didn't receive a lot of input or feedback on it. It's not a big problem, but we maybe want to act on that rather than letting it open indefinitely. One little thing from me is that I feel that these things should be made as easy as possible. So as usual, I'm not satisfied with my proposal so far, but it's still a good enough proposal to be adopted. So we have a clear set of rules to operate. And then further on, it can always be refined to be either simplified or amended and stuff.
So could you maybe link the proposal to the minutes?
Yep. I would like to state maybe here a few big changes. If I remember correctly, it's like the exclusion of voting directly inside minutes. And some stuff, I know Elizabeth was interested in this as well. The publicity of meetings, meaning that simple pirates maybe shouldn't be accepted in the board meetings, while the YouTube broadcast will still operate and stuff, unless an explicit question will be asked to the board, and the procedure to ask a question is also listed in the rules of procedure. So yeah, just let you know that a few things may be important to you or to some might have been shifted around in this new draft.
I see. Well, I guess this is a little bit changing the convention so far, or maybe like codifying it in a way. But I think it's still very much in the, let's say, what's standard for pirate parties across Europe.
Yeah, the objective was to leave as little room to interpretation as possible. So things can run a bit more smoothly.
I see. Well, I would suggest we put it on the agenda of the next board meeting, so that first of all everybody has the time to actually read through it and take care of that, to adapt to it, and also we will have more opportunities to discuss with the other colleagues who are not present here.
So more as a discussion without decision then?
I mean, I would say discussion with decision, but for the next board meeting.
Okay.
Super. with that, I would say rules of procedure are the clear plan for next time, and we have the last point, which is the board panel.
Yes, it's something that came up following all the talks we could have about a tool to assess the progress of tasks inside the board. We discovered a bit late that Mattermost could host such a task list in the same manner as a Trello or something. So I created such boards, and it is my understanding that some people may have missed it. So I am mentioning it with you guys, and I will put it inside the minutes just for your notice.
I see it in front of me. That's actually very interesting and apparently very useful tool I was not aware about, but certainly it's something we should keep in mind and consider using. So I suggest we put it as the subject for discussions, maybe even with decisions for the next board meeting, so that we first of all can officially approve that this is the tool we want to use as the board. Plus, keep everybody within the board aware of its existence, because it seems to be very useful. Any more comments on that? Okay, so I will take it as done. We have kind of like gone through everything we wanted to do. There are unfortunately still only 3 of us board members, so not much final decisions were taken. But I guess we have tasks for the next board meeting, and we just like hopefully solve it together in bigger numbers.
Yes, yeah, I think there's not much else to do except continue on what we already planned, and maybe in the next board meeting it will be time to do an assessment of which tasks we sidelined for now at the start of our exercise here, if I can say it this way.
That will be very useful.
Yeah, and on another note, I sadly lost the work I did on legal and conformity work when I tried to share it with YPE, because I mishandled the thing and it destroyed the document. But it's a good thing after all, because the document I had was a bit messy, so it would be a good opportunity to do things in a more straightforward way. Starting anew, yeah.
Okay, that's a bit pity, but yeah, hopefully you can restore it. Well, good then. I mean, are there any other businesses or anything what we shall address today, or let's just like assume that this was the first meeting after the summer, the next one will be more successful. Yes, please.
I just want to note for anyone who might be watching online or reading the minutes later that if they need any help or clarification with the ratification process on the Common European Election Programme and the strategy, just don't hesitate to reach out to us. I think either one of us are more than happy to join any kind of online meetings and explain stuff. Since I have dealt with a large part of the topics during the finalization phase, as I said, I'm more than happy to come and explain both the process and the program. So I will write that in Mattermost somewhere as well. But and I will obviously reach out to everyone with the help of Map. But yeah, if anyone is watching now or later, please do contact us if you need any help or guidance with the ratification process.
So yeah, about the ratification process, a few updates from France, and you can come back to me anytime if you want info, Veronica. But we already submitted all of this to review, and we should have confirmed decisions by the end of the month.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
So thank you very much for the